Welcome everybody to another edition of the CEO Tour. Today I have Michele from Mystic Power Yoga, and I'm super excited about this one. I'm always super excited, it seems, with these CEO Tours because I get to hear the story and how a business owner started into yoga, into whatever business that they're in. So Michele, tell us a little bit of story, a backstory of how you got into doing what it is that you're doing right now.
Well, it's a long journey, honestly. I started practicing yoga over 20 years ago, and I started teaching yoga over 20 years ago. So I started off teaching in different locations, and then I eventually got a space to rent, which was a lot smaller, which was part of a business incubator in our local town. And I worked a business plan and worked that whole program with them. And then after we graduated from that entrepreneurial program, then we moved out of that building and came into the space that we're in now. So we're actually in business 13 years. I really started yoga just for my passion of yoga, because I myself had stress in my life. I suffered from panic attacks 20 some years ago, and somebody referred me to yoga practice, and that's how I started in it. So I always say that I didn't find yoga, yoga found me, because I don't know where I'd be in my life right now had I not started yoga. And of course, when you find something that really works for you, you want to share it with the world. So that's what I did, shared it and continue to share it, and to build leaders in our community, to build more and more people to keep sharing.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And most people kind of get into yoga because of, they don't just kind of, I don't want to say like fall into it or kind of just happen upon it. They kind of almost seek it out, or yoga seeks them out, or there's some kind of really sort of spiritual connection that folks have with yoga.
Yeah, absolutely. And really, again, that's how I got into it, because of the anxiety and the stress. And my husband actually got me a gift certificate for a yoga class. And my original teachers taught a very traditional style of yoga. So that's what I really started out in. My first teacher was Swami Satchidananda. He's the famous guru that ohmed in at Woodstock. And then I started to transition more into the power practice, where I did training with Rodney Yee, and then transitioned into the Baptiste style. And we've been actually a Baptiste affiliate studio for many years now, actually since about 13 years. So we're probably a Baptiste affiliate for about 12 plus years. We're the only one in Northeastern Pennsylvania. I was offered a job through one of our local hospitals here in a cardiac rehab program. So I actually teach intensive cardiac rehab to cardiac patients through Dr. Dean Ornish. And the reason that they sought me out as a teacher is because my original training had been with Swami Satchidananda, and the training for the cardiac rehab, which it's not just plain cardiac rehab, it really speaks about changing the lifestyle of the patient so that they actually live. I mean, it's a life or death situation. So really, it's just the full gamut of everything like that I've really explored my whole life is now implemented into our business here at our studio.
Amazing, amazing. I know, like, historically, there's sort of the stigma attached that yoga is more for like the female, and
Yep.
And then now what we're seeing, I think we're seeing a lot of like athletes, male athletes.
Oh yeah.
Adopt yoga and tell me some of those reasons of.
Well, my teacher Baron Baptiste is a perfect example, because he was a trainer for the Philadelphia Eagles for many years. And the reason they brought him on as a trainer in the team is because they were one of the teams with the worst injuries. So they brought him in, he taught the practice. But I myself have had an experience where I used to manage a health club years ago. I used to rent space upstairs to teach in the health club, and I used to manage downstairs. But I used to work with bodybuilders, because they would be practicing their posing and their breathing and all of that. So, it really speaks to everybody. And I think once somebody takes a class, if they don't want to do a traditional class, then come to a more physical class, a power class. You're still getting all of the elements of the practice, as long as you're going to a studio who really is well-rounded and is going to deliver all of that to you. So there's lots of different options. So I always tell people, even in the cardiac program, if you don't like to sit and meditate, then do walking meditation. Right? There's always an option. Don't tell me that you can't try to at least do something.
For sure. And the name, where does the Mystic Power Yoga name come from? the mystic part of it?
You know, it's kind of funny because, you know, it's not like we're in Mystic, Connecticut or anything, but I just liked the name Mystic, and actually it was Mystic Yoga Studio. And then once we got really involved in the Baptiste practice, we changed it to Mystic Power Yoga. But now I'm actually thinking of rebranding and even changing it to Mystic Power Yoga and Wellness. Because I mean, some of the people in our community have been with me and this community for just as long as we're open. So I don't really know about the Mystic, to be honest with you. It was just something I liked.
Very cool. No, that's awesome. And I know that always like changing and I guess adapting to what's going on. And speaking of adapting, how did you guys manage through, you know, the whole pandemic situation?
Yeah, we really did have to adapt. I have to say it wasn't easy. But we did. I mean, I think you have to, if you want to survive in business, you have to adapt and change with the times. I mean, when we were shut down for 3 months, we literally offered a free meditation every single day to the public. So that we did. We offered free classes. And then once we were more organized with Zoom and really doing the online classes, then we were offering the online classes before we were able to open up again. And then once we opened up again, any class that we had was offered both online and Zoom. And that's what we're still doing today. And it was a learning curve, especially for some of my teachers who are like really anti-techie, you know, don't want to. So we really had to teach our teachers how to do it, had to teach our students how to do it, and still we're teaching and still we're learning. So it's really been a learning, but honestly, the one thing I think it taught us is that yoga can happen every day, all the time, anywhere. There's no more snow days, right? Like we close on a snow day. Well, okay, well, maybe we're not gonna be open. Guess what? Class is still on. So, I mean, that's the wonderful thing about it, that if somebody's on vacation, they can Zoom in on our class. We've had people Zoom in from the beach. We've had people really, literally Zoom in on their lunch break to do a meditation. So that's what I've found out has been very encouraging for both us as a team and our community, and really to encourage people that even if you still don't feel coming into the studio is a safe thing for you, it's still available to you. We're still here for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's so important during you know what was going on with all the closures. That feeling that you're not alone, and you still have this outlet that you can utilize. And how did you find that? And you know, what would you recommend for other businesses out there that are kind of a little bit hesitant to kind of adopt that hybrid model of the in-person and also the Zoom classes?
Well, I think at first it's intimidating, but I know it was for our teachers, because nobody wants to look at themselves. And it's really a growing for both the community because of learning the tech side of it, but also the teachers and being like fully visible. So you have to be willing to take that leap of faith. And I think once everybody got through that learning curve, it really became very beneficial. And, you know, we've had some challenges along the way, like a good mic, a bad microphone, sound issues, camera issues, and otherwise, you're really limiting your business if you don't do it. You really are. Because I have some of my teachers that say, well, I'll teach, but I don't want to do Zoom. And then I say, well, that's fine, but then you're not going to have any students. And that's what's happening now, is that even though a lot of people are willing to come back to the studio, it's still super convenient for them if they get home from work late, or if they, you know, a nurse and they get off like a 12-hour, 15-hour shift, they know they can go home, do yoga, and then go to bed. And now I don't think we can ever do away with it, honestly.
And a lot of them just prefer the fact of working out at home. They just feel more comfortable at home, and they got used to it, and they want to continue it.
Yep. Exactly.
Wellness Living is a very robust platform with lots of different features. What are some of the standout features that you guys utilize?
Well, I think the one feature that our students really enjoy is having the app available to them. So that's nice. And we have it available. Like what we do is we list both of our classes. So if it's Zoom, they list themselves on the Zoom class. If it's a regular class, they list themselves on the regular class. And we're able to put right in the class description where you need to reach out for the Zoom link. So in that case, it was very adaptable to make these changes. But I think people, rather than having to go to our website all the time to look for a class, they like just to have that handy app available. So I think the app has been one of the biggest game changers for us.
And then that's the other thing where the app, what we found is that it's really like an amazing retention tool for you guys, because for the clients themselves, just having that app on their phone is like a reminder. Hey, I'm a member of this yoga studio, and I want to, I'm still there. And you could do push notifications, and you could communicate with your clients and do all of that stuff. So it's a really, really powerful tool.
That is really nice, because they tell me when they put it on the app that they're coming, then they're really committed.
Yeah.
And then I like that the software acknowledges when they don't show up. And I mean, and sometimes, they start to build up more and more payments because they don't show up, but then they look at their account and realize, oh, okay, that's because I didn't show up.
It's such a powerful tool that even if you get one member from it,
right.
it's worth it, right?
Well, yeah, you get people that were never here before because they see us somewhere and the app goes right. Somehow, I don't know how you all do it, but somehow if they find us on Google, they sign up through Wellness Living. So it's integrated, I guess, because we don't put them in the system, but then they'll be like, oh yeah, I signed up, I'm already registered. And, so it's not just through the app, that something else links them to the app somehow.
Yeah, it's super powerful. So we have an integration with something called Reserve with Google. So this is a Google service. So actual folks that are searching for yoga in your area or will be able to find you and actually do the booking right through the Google environment. So they don't have to leave Google, and they could book a class with you. And and even the virtual classes, that was one thing that we actually have that exclusively. We're the only fitness business management platform that supports virtual classes in Google, which was, again, like it's a no-brainer. It's free leads for you guys coming from Google, and it'll actually improve your SEO and do so much stuff for as far as driving new business to you. So. And once they do that booking, you capture all their information. You have that right in the attendance list, and so again, like another super powerful feature that a lot of businesses are using.
Yeah, really nice that it's all there. And then lift your chest up, lift your arms up this time. We're gonna come straight up. Lift up on the hip, down. Take cactus onto your left for eagle.
Thank you so much for sharing your story with me, and it's awesome hearing about how you started and where you came from and where you are today. It's really amazing, and the service that you guys are doing for the community and helping people heal people and getting people healthy and fit is just phenomenal. And so for all the audience out there, if you're in Northern Pennsylvania and you want an amazing yoga class, power yoga, chair yoga, all kinds of different yoga disciplines, definitely check out Michele at Mystic Power Yoga.
Thank you so much. This was such a great opportunity. We really, really appreciate it, and love getting to know you and your community better as well.
Awesome. Thanks again, Michele. And thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the CEO Tour. Bye for now, everybody.